Today, we're looking at the 5 biggest lessons that we learned while building our home, and all backed by a little bit of psychology. So you know exactly what to expect before you pick up a single tile sample. And lesson number 4 is probably the most important, but also one of the easiest to miss. So let's dive in. Lesson 1, the planning fallacy. If you're planning to build, the first lesson you need to know is it will take longer than you think. The builders will give you a timeline. In our case was 14 months. But that's not true. It will take longer. And even if that number does end up close, like for us, we're currently at 15 months and hopefully we'll be in next month, the experience will not feel that straightforward because this process is not linear. You're going to see bursts of projects. The slab, the framing, the roof all goes up in 2 months, followed by long stretches of nothing. And those pauses, they're going to feel endless, especially if you're driving by site every weekend hoping to see some progress. Now, this is planning fallacy in action. Our brains are naturally wired to underestimate how long things take, especially when you put in excitement and optimism into the mix. It tricks you into thinking best case scenario, which, usually isn't the case. And the reality is, progress is going to come in waves, not a straight line. If you're not in control of the timeline, what can you control? Lesson number 2, giving up control. So here's the second truth. If you're not a builder, and let's be honest, most of us aren't, you will quickly realize that you have very little control over how, when, and how quickly things happen on your job site. And now at first, this will not bother you. You will have hundreds of decisions to make. Everything from where the outlets go, which way the door swings, to the colors of every surface in your house. Now, it probably is a bit overwhelming, but it's also really addictive in the beginning. Every decision that you make makes the process go faster. It truly feels like you are steering this ship. Now, psychologists call this your locus of control, which is the belief that your actions drive outcomes. And in the early stages, this is absolutely true. But once that build gets going, all of that control evaporates. No matter how quick you make decisions, you can't make the slab dry quicker and you can't make trades show up on time. But one thing that you do have complete control over is the design. So how do you know you're making the right choices? Lesson number 3, making bold choices is not easy. But here's the challenge. Bold can be scary, but safe can be regretful. Take tiles, for example. You may fall in love with something patterned and beautiful, but then you start to second guess yourself. This is exactly what I did. I desperately wanted to put this beautiful mermaid scale green tile in my kids' bathroom. It looked gorgeous. But then I started to question, will I get sick of it? Will it date really quickly? What happens if my kids hate it after a year? And is it too much money to spend for something quite risky? This is loss aversion. It's our brain's fear of regret over the value of joy. Now, I knew all of this, and I still made the mistake for the safe white choice. So welcome to my era of regret. Bold choices are what makes your house feel like home. Now, tile choices may seem big, because they are, but this next lesson will fundamentally change your home, and most people overlook it in the design process. Lesson number 4, function first. Now, Pinterest is a great starting point, but here is the golden rule. Your home has to work for your life, not just for the photos. So think about how your family actually lives. Do you really need 2 kitchen islands, or does that just look really cool in a Pinterest photo? All of the beautiful finishes in the world will not make up for poor design layout. Like, do you really need a butler's pantry that's a second kitchen? And I say this as someone who wanted a butler's pantry. So what works for you and your family won't work for someone else. And it can be really hard to make these choices looking at a flat 2D floor plan. But I urge you to take this extra step and think about flow when you're looking at those drawings. Now, this is all about reducing the cognitive load of living in your house. Is your home supporting your lifestyle, therefore reducing the cognitive load, or adding stress to, I'm sure, an already chaotic life? By taking a moment to look past the pretty and actually considering function, the more energy you're going to have when you actually get to live in your beautiful new home. And even with all this planning, what happens if you start to regret some of your choices? Lesson number 5, you will have regrets, and that is absolutely okay. Of the hundreds of decisions that you're going to make, again, from outlets to switch placements to where in the ceiling you're going to put your lights, you're going to make a mistake. And that is the paradox of choice. The more options you have, the more likely you're going to question the decisions that you finally make. And with the endless list of choices, there's always going to be what ifs. But here's the thing with regrets, it means you actually cared. And for every decision that you get wrong, there's going to be dozens that you did right. The overall story of your home is not going to be about the mistakes that you made. It'll be about the care that you put into it. So, can you build the perfect house? No. But can you build one that's perfectly yours? Absolutely. So at the end of the day, your house may not be perfect, but it's going to be perfectly yours. And a home isn't built with just bricks and tiles. It's built with patience, psychology, and a whole lot of bravery. If you want to see why we left the big city to build our dream house, check out this video here. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.